My personal relationship with God, Source, Sophia, whatever you want to call that creator for you, my relationship started very slow. And it also started with kind of a very amorphous, benevolent universe kind of. Your creator wants the good for you, and but it was a very nebulous energy based relationship, and I didn't personally like feel connected. I felt like supported, but I didn't feel connected. Those aren't the same thing, right? And then, in an effort to dig in deeper and really just having the itch to experience a more intimate relationship, um, in my meditation, my prayers just kind of suddenly turned to Father God. And I needed the voice of um, a father, a brother, and a lover, to bring me to a place of intimacy, of a direct, intimate relationship. And it has proved to be absolutely beautiful and amazing. And I've always felt that, any kind of anything has feminine and masculine energy. And I was just tuning into the masculine energy. As it turns out, I didn't even know that I was doing this, but I was really working deeply on my masculine wounds. My masculine wounds come out in my relationships to men, and a lot of those needed to be healed. And the way I view myself, through my own eyes, through a man's eyes, like those are all things that really needed to be addressed. And those aren't things that stop. That study keeps going and deepens, and you are able to see more and more of yourself. And then, just continuing my meditation, continuing my prayers, the relationship started to get even more personal, where suddenly I was hearing the voice of Mother God, a feminine aspect, meaning that as I really was endeavoring to live this life that felt guided, it's almost like I wanted to be pulled closer to something that was made like me, right? So a feminine, unknowable, mysterious, and still very guiding and pliable, open, and a little less linear. And that has been a whole new door opening and a whole new set of blessings. It For me, it has required a decent amount of rest. It's required for me to sit in stillness, and it's almost like the absorption with the Father God aspect was more active, and my initiation with my Mother God, just this feminine aspect that I've been leaning into. I need to rest and listen. In both cases, hopefully you are actively listening, or you are being still and listening. It's always listening, right? Because that is how your higher self will get the cues that you're waiting for. And so I just wanted to talk about like the path that I mean, it was certainly not conscious. It was where I was drawn. It was the books I was drawn to read in the specific order where they would just appear in my life, on my bookshelf, on my suggested Amazon list. Like, I don't take those things for granted. And I used to kind of be like, is that really? Now I don't hesitate. I jump. Especially like my reading list has been like crazy dialed in. It has been 100% delivered to me, by God. And I would also offer that just because I get the book doesn't mean it's the time for me to read it. I've had books sit on my shelf for months, and suddenly I'm like, it's time to read that book. It's time to pull it out, and I have it on hand. So I always listen to that. I mean, obviously, I'm a reader. I love books. It doesn't take a lot for me. But the impulse to buy certain books in a certain order has served me like, changed my life, changed everything about my life in an amazing way. Um, and I just wanted to offer, if you were brought up with a traditional relationship with God where maybe there was a middleman or interpreter, or you're just investigating a relationship with a higher source of energy or your creator, lean into what is speaking to you, right? So don't be afraid to first, whatever feels like, if universe feels right, absolutely go with that. I think it's more about whatever is going to bring about the nature of an intimate relationship is more important than the whatever sort of energy or image or whatever it is that you use as your touchstone to get that relationship going. I think that's very secondary. And I just wanted to offer that today because, you know, when you're on this journey of unearthing, who you really are, releasing it to the world, living in vulnerability, really the only way to stay there is through, obviously, living it through your body. That is my actual basic tenet. But if you don't have a relationship with God, you're only going to go so far. Because what happens is not the opposite of God, but the voice that isn't your higher self, the one that communes with God, is your ego. Now, I'll never say kill the ego. Everyone needs a healthy ego to survive. And I would say a healthy ego is imperative. It needs to be cared for and fed. It doesn't need to be worshipped and let be in charge. But its appearance is absolutely essential. But if you don't have the frame of something bigger than yourself, then only you are really giving you direction. And look, I can say from my experience, when I think I know best is when I'm going the most wrong, the most quickly. When you think you know better and that, your direction is so concrete without any outside influence, without any really benevolent source influence, you can really get yourself in a pickle. So, what I'm suggesting for you to do today is to just think about your relationship with God and with any spirit guides you have. If there's sort of like something that you've meditated about before that really moved you, something that felt really effective, like where you really felt connected, just review that today. Go through the practice that you bring forth. Mine is in my daily meditation and in the evening in my daily prayer. So you know how I feel about reps. It's all about working those things into your life to build power on a daily basis. And that is how, you're really able to live your most authentic self. And so that's what I just invite you to investigate today. And I will see you tomorrow.